Public meeting of December 16, 2024 of the Township Council of the Township of Washington. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, electronic message board, WCTV, and the Township website. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at Township Council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. If you are unable to attend the council meeting in person and would like a topic to be addressed at a council meeting, please send an email to the Township of Washington contact all council members at once, twpofwashington.us. Could everyone please stand for a salute to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilman Sears.
Here.
Councilman Ullman. Councilwoman Velez.
Here.
Council President DeSena.
Here. Let the record reflect also in attendance Mayor Peter Calamari, Township Administrator Mark DiCarlo, Township Attorney Siobhan Bailey, and Township Clerk Susan Witkowski. Payment of bills, resolution number 24-373. Authorized payment of bills November 27, 2024 to December 12, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. PSA for December 16, 2024. The Township of Washington has added the Recycling Coach app to our website on the Department of Public Works page. Recycle Coach is an address-based app that educates residents on how to recycle materials appropriately for their area. By downloading the Recycle Coach app, you will be able to obtain your curbside collection schedule, sign up for alerts, and quickly learn how to properly dispose of different waste materials. There is no debris bulk pickup for the remainder of the year and no special pickups. The DPW yard will open again on Tuesday, beginning tomorrow, December 17th, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Christmas trees will be picked up at the curb starting January 6th and last about 2 weeks. There is no set pickup schedule. Holiday recycling schedule. Christmas Day, December 25th. Pickup for the Northwest South Zone will occur on Saturday, December 28th. New Year's Day, January 1st pickup on the Northeast Zone will occur on Saturday, January 4th. The Township is seeking members for the Advisory Board of Health. If you are interested, please contact the mayor via email mayor@twpofwashington.us. The Township Council of the Township of Washington is hereby soliciting resumes and/or letters of interest qualifications from Township residents to be appointed to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Please visit the clerk section of the website under the forms page for the application. The Kiwanis Club of Pascack Valley meets on the second Wednesday of each month at 6:30 p.m. at the Westwood Community Center. If anyone would like more information, please contact Ralph Cardulli at 516-581-8319. Township offices will be closed on Wednesday, December 25th and Wednesday, January 1st. Our next council meeting will be held on Monday, January 6, 2025. Thank you, everyone. Mayor's appointment without consent of agenda. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. Please be advised that I'm appointing the following citizen for the position set forth below to the Advisory Board of Health, Melvina Juan Zaza, with her term expiring December 31st, 2027. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Chief and Captain Pecora. Would you like to give us a SLEO update, please?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. So I asked the mayor and the administrator if we could come before you to give you an update on our SLEO program, because we are making some changes to it, and I like for you guys to hear about changes from me directly as opposed to any other source. So a brief overview of our SLEO program. We have SLEO 1s and 2s right now. I'm sorry, SLEO 3s and 2s right now. The program is going excellent. I'm getting calls from other chiefs who want to know what we're doing, how we're doing it, and because there's good word of mouth on it, and it's very, very effective. So to start off with our SLEO 3 program, three SLEO 3s currently in all of the schools, all the public schools. They're there full time. Anytime that school is in session, they're there. They're doing a fantastic job, and to say that that program has exceeded our expectations would be an understatement. So much so that I don't know if anyone's aware that last year, the senior class voted the yearbook dedication go to the SLEO 3 officer that's in the high school. That's incredible. He was there 2 years, and to get that kind of recognition is amazing from a class. You know, these are kids that have gone through with teachers for 6 and 8 years, you know, and yet they voted the SLEO 3. So again, he's really woven himself into the fabric of the community, and as well as the officers in the grammar schools. So they're doing a fantastic job.
Does Westwood have a similar program or no?
They do, yes.
So all our schools technically in the Westwood Regional School District have a full-time
Yes.
SLEO in a school.
That is
It's not
correct.
just the township schools.
Correct. We administer ours. They're employees
Correct.
of the township.
But I'm saying, but all
Yeah.
schools in our district are,
Yes, they are.
both towns are covered.
Yeah, it's, again, it's a terrific program. You know, and if anyone ever has any questions or anything, you know, please, you know, reach out to the mayor or me, or, you know, we can get your answers on that. Any questions come up, or if you hear anything. Moving on to the SLEO 2 program. We've had a SLEO 2 program since before the captain and I were here. And it's always been extraordinarily effective. It helps as with regard to manpower. It helps as, you know, what I like to call a force multiplier. SLEO 2s, for those that aren't aware, but I think you're all familiar, SLEO 2s, when they're on duty, basically have all the same powers as a regular police officer. They're armed, they are, you know, they use force, et cetera. You know, they go on calls, they go on medical calls, they do motor vehicle enforcement. So they do pretty much the same job as a regular, only at a fraction of the cost, which is obviously the reason for using them. We are limited in the number of SLEOs that we can have under what's called the Belmar decision, which was a sort of a cornerstone decision in New Jersey from the courts going back, again, over 30 years, which spelled out the formula for how many SLEOs you can have. Right now, it's about 10% of your force, and we only have one. There was one time when we had 2 full-time, but hiring, manpower, budgeting, et cetera, it's gone down to 1 full-time. We've continued to try to get a part-timer, but it's been challenging. The overall law enforcement climate with regard to hiring is not what it was at one time. And there's also been changes in the legislation and as well as from the Police Training Commission that has made it only possible so SLEO 2s used to attend an abbreviated police academy. And in order for them to become a SLEO 2, to become a regular police officer, he had to attend an additional 80 hours, a full-time course. It was 2 weeks. The PTC has done away with that. Now, SLEO 2s attend the exact same academy right alongside fully sworn regular police officers. So what does that mean? What's the practical application of that? That means a SLEO 2 who attends the academy is a fully trained police officer. So to upgrade them, to waive them up, they used to take this class. They don't have to take the class anymore, which means any agency who hires them doesn't have to pay for their training. Their training is already there. If they hire them within 2 years, they have to reimburse the agency that invested in them and paid for their training. And again, there's a formula with regard to that. All this adds up to that SLEO 2s are increasingly hard to get. So the change we are making here is we've had to train our own SLEO 2s. In the past, we got SLEO 2s always from the shore towns. The shore towns hire them heavily. The Belmar decision obviously comes from a shore town where the shore towns were obviously given a waiver on that 10% during the summer months and, you know, and during their busy periods. So previously, the shore towns would pay for the officers' training. They would go, they would work a couple summers, and then they would get hired. These were traditionally people who wanted to get on the job and become regular police officers. They would get hired all throughout the state. They would go for the waiver training. Now, because they attend the exact same training, they get picked up almost immediately as regular police officers when they're done with their stint down the shore towns. So again, this is the practical application of SLEO 2s and the way the whole dynamic has changed. So as of now, we've had discussions with the mayor and the administrator with regard to hiring SLEO 2s. As you know, we'll have 1 retirement at the end of the year, and our current SLEO 2 will be moving into the full-time regular position. He's already field trained. He's a fully certified police officer because he attended a regular academy, so it'll be pretty much a seamless transition. We just notify the PTC that we're upgrading his status and his license, and they sign off on it, and everything is good. I can also point out that with regard to the program, we've hired 5 or 6 of 5 officers from our SLEO 2 program. We've upgraded them to regular officers, and they're serving with us now. It gives us a fantastic opportunity to see these people, see what they do, see their work ethic, see how they handle themselves, get some experience with them, train them the way we like to do things in town, and it's worked out terrific. There also have been a couple that didn't work out, that just weren't a good fit, or for whatever reason, they were not reappointed, and they went on their way. And they were great people, but they just might not have been the right fit, or they might not have been the right thing for them. So it doesn't automatically move people up. We've had a couple instances where it didn't. But the bottom line is it lets us see someone
Get to
for
test drive them.
exactly for a much longer period of time and make sure that they're going to work out. And I can confidently say that all of them have. So that's a benefit an intangible benefit to the program. So what we're doing now is we're going to send 2 officers to the police academy as appointed SLEO 2 officers. They'll attend the regular academy. The academy is approximately 6 months. It starts in January. They'll be appointed. They have to be appointed. They have to be appointed as SLEO 2 officers to attend the academy. Upon their graduation, we will appoint one as a full-time and one as a part-time. That's what we've asked for many years. That's what you've budgeted. It's worked out very well. But the problem is we've had trouble getting the part-time officer for all the reasons I just outlined. So by hiring 2, sending them to the academy, they're ours. Okay.
If somebody wants them, they have to pay for our 6 months of pay.
Exactly. Yeah. So in that regard, we kind
So
of.
if one graduates, the part-timer, let's just say he or she graduates, and all of a sudden somebody comes and says, hey, I got a full-time gig for you. They would just have to give us back our money for the 6 months.
Correct. Yeah.
And then we'd have to start the process again. To find
That's the
somebody
downside.
else. But that's a possibility because we have a part-timer and a full-timer. Yes. Okay.
It's to maintain staffing.
Yeah, it's
Because right now, for a few months, we're going to be left without a SLEO 2 because they'll be in the academy, and our current SLEO 2 will be hired and as a regular to replace our retirement. Now, expanding and going down the ladder to SLEO 1. A SLEO 1 officer is a much different thing. A SLEO 1 officer is not armed. They can only use limited force. They don't have the full and same power and authority that a regular police officer does, whether they're on duty or not. When they're not on duty, they have no power or authority. When they are on duty, they're again a force multiplier. They can do a lot of things that we need. And one of the most readily available examples, even though it's kind of low on the rung, is our crossing guards can't direct traffic. They can only cross people. Our SLEO 1s or any SLEO 1 would be able to direct traffic. Now that comes in handy because that means a SLEO 1 can be out in the road during public events, motor vehicle accidents, anything like that. And again, it's a good force multiplier. Now, I've asked the mayor, again, and the administrator, and they've agreed to hire 2 per diem SLEO 1s. We will train them. We don't pay for their training. We have to sponsor them and appoint them to attend an academy. Their academy is only 80 hours. It's done at night. It's done for 3 hours or 4 hours twice a week for 10 weeks, and then they're graduated. The one thing I am going to approach you on at some point is right now our salary ordinance only provides 1 salary for all SLEO officers, which, given what I've just described, it isn't really equitable or right or fair. The SLEO position right now is slated at $25 an hour. That hasn't changed in decades. Okay, I think that's around what they were making when we were first hired. There was often a joke that a SLEO 2 officer is making more than a regular officer for the first year or so. So at some point I will come and maybe we can start adding that into the 2% raises or we can discuss that. But along with that, I would like to ask you when the time comes to create a salary guide, which would call for SLEO 2s for making $25 an hour. But again, I would ask for that to increase slightly, and then providing for a lesser salary for SLEO 1s. Crossing guards are making approximately $20.50 an hour. I would ask for a SLEO 1 to get $22 to $22.50 an hour. And again, it just makes it.
So who would qualify to be a SLEO 1? Anybody?
SLEO 1s have the same. They have.
No, I'm saying who would want that position? Because it's a part-time.
Anyone looking to get the experience and get their foot in the door. So it's a stepping stone.
a real, but you're not, because you're only working when you're needed.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you can go months without even being called.
Correct.
We wouldn't want to do that because we would want to keep them getting some experience.
But it's going to be a hard thing to budget, because how do you budget that line item? Like how do you know how much money to put in there? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Given, that's what we'll discuss, when budget time comes. I will be looking for a slight increase, and I'm talking maybe $2,000 to $3,000 to the line period to cover the entire program. We've been doing it very well with what we have. The person who wants that is generally the younger person who's attending college full time and wants to continue that. They want to get their degree, they want to finish, but they want to start getting some experience.
Okay.
So,
So it's a college student,
Usually. Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
pursuing.
Very often that is who you get. Like demographically, yeah, I would say that's exactly who
Because
you want.
mostly it would be like after 5 o'clock that we would call them for a concert or something at
Right.
whatever, maybe, or weekends.
Right.
Correct.
Exactly. We can use them during the week
If they're available.
if our regular SLEO 2 is not available for whatever reason, he's sick, he takes a day off. We can use them to do the school posts because again, they can direct traffic. That's that essential component that the SLEO is performing that the crossing guard can't. So again, they're like a multi-purpose.
Okay.
They're definitely they're useful and it just works out very well. It's something we're branching into, and I wanted you guys to hear it from me to see if you have any questions or want to provide any input or feedback or anything like that. Because again, it's doing something a little different. We've never, in the 30 years that we've been here, have never hired SLEO 1s. But I do see a place for them. I do think it's cost effective. I think we get a lot of value out of it. I think it can help with things like, the biggest thing we always talk about is overtime. A lot of times, I think it can help with that. And so that's basically why I wanted to come to you and just update you with regard to the program, where we're heading, what our plans are, so that you hear it direct from me.
Okay.
When are you looking to hire these SLEO 2 ones?
The academy is running, the Bergen County Police Academy is running a class starting in January, so they would be appointed for the new year.
Has there been any interest so far? Like, has anybody approached you?
Yes.
There is.
So
As an example, so we advertised for the position of SLEO 2, and as always, we tried to get certified people. We got exactly 0 applications for it. We then expanded that to say, you don't have to be certified. We will send you to the academy, et cetera. We only got 15 applications for those positions. We used to get 40, and they were certified. They were coming from the short towns. So this is the challenge with regard to hiring, and that's why we're trying to do something, think a little outside the box, do something a little more creative so that we can continue to keep the program going. So,
John,
Yeah.
Did you run numbers on how much if you hired a SLEO 1, it would reduce overtime?
no, because I've never,
You never.
I can imagine a dozen different,
Estimated.
I can imagine a dozen different ways I would use them.
But you
And-
never use them because. you never-
Exactly.
Well,
So-
you can't replace a regular police officer, so it's kind of subjective as far as like where they're going to save. Like, they would save, we wouldn't have to bring a police officer in to do, say, traffic, for an emergency or something like that. We could bring them in
Right.
to do that.
I'm
So we had a
thinking
fire.
I'm thinking like
or
doing like the town events.
Yeah.
Instead of hiring a full-time, you put a SLEO 1 down there at a lesser cost,
Correct.
Right.
We always have our SLEO there. I'm sorry.
No,
We always have, that's the one SLEO we have. So this would give us additional, which then would
Right.
give us a savings. So it would be significant, for that event.
Sure.
That's the idea.
Again,
That's exactly the idea.
That's hopefully where we're
22,
going. We're
yeah,
getting someone, a young person to come in and get involved in the career, right? It's a career person, hopefully, and that we can reduce costs overall and keep the same safety factor.
Exactly. That is what the eye is on this. I'm a police chief. I'm always going to want more regulars and more, but
Sure.
I'm being realistic about, again, using these as force multipliers, getting value for our dollar. That's basically what it is. To your point, Steve, sometimes if we only have the one SLEO, if I have a regular police officer out directing traffic on something like Town Day, and I can replace that person with
Right.
$22 to $25 an hour. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It maximizes our dollar and we're getting, a very substantially similar service. So those are the practical motivations
Right.
behind this.
Right.
And again, we're getting to see them and see their work ethic and
Right.
see.
Do you want
How they fit in
Are
with
they
the
somebody we-
how do they fit in with the
Basic
department? Do they
academy for the-
mesh?
Right.
Right, the community,
we're
how they
vetting
handle
them, too.
themselves. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
How they
definitely
interact
works
with
out very well
community.
for us.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if there's no benefit to the township,
Yeah.
why have them? But if
Right.
there's going to be a cost benefit and a
Mhm.
safety benefit, obviously it would be, be beneficial to everyone. So,
That's what I anticipate. Yeah. Like I said, and I got to give my staff credit, my command staff, the captain and the lieutenants. They manage the program and they do a fantastic job with plugging these guys, the SLEOs in where they're needed, when they're needed, and it really does. It works out so well that in the year that I've been chief, I've been approached by 4 different chiefs who asked me to sit down and explain how we're using them, where they're using them, because they're not using them at all, and they've admitted that they're leaving money on the table and they could really come in handy. So yeah, it's just something that Washington Township's always sort of been one of those things we've been a little ahead on, and I'd like to keep it that way. So
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Captain.
thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, approval of minutes, public meeting December 18, 2023, conference meeting December 18, 2023. Do I have a motion?
so moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes.
No.
No,
no.
Vote. Sorry.
Abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have to abstain, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're right, I have to abstain.
That was my bad. I didn't mark it.
No, you did.
It's marked.
It's marked. I missed it.
I did.
Public meeting 2023, Sendai meeting January 3rd, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilman Oman. Sorry. Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Abstain. I can't move it.
Right.
Public meeting reorg January 3rd, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Public meeting January 15, 2024, conference meeting January 15, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes.
Mr. President, may I ask the clerk a question?
Sure.
Are we that behind with
Yes.
these? Okay.
I got these done by working from home because then there's no interruptions.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You have a follow-up report, Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes, sir. Good evening, council. This is my follow-up from the meeting on December 2nd, 2024. There was no residents' concerns or questions to follow up on. There was 2 council questions that were brought to my attention. First was Councilman DeSena requested a cost estimate for the proposed 3-bay full 2-story DPW building in steel. I requested from Mr. Iavino a cost estimate for a full steel structure, as well as a steel structure for just the 2nd floor. Topics will be discussed this evening further during the conference agenda. Council requested information on the time frame and location that Appraisal Systems will beginning the revaluation inspections. I was advised by Appraisal Systems that the inspections will most likely begin towards the end of January 2025. At this time, the beginning locations has not been determined. The inspectors may begin in several different locations in the township. Appraisal Systems will be posting locations on their website at www.asinj.com. The flyer and letter that will be mailed to residents has been reviewed by our attorney and administration. The forms were provided to council on Monday, December 9th, 2024. And an update to that, in speaking with our tax assessor, the letter will also include a date and I think link towards a presentation that will be virtual for our residents to join so they can hear live and I believe answer questions. After that, we'll also offer the same presentation to our seniors at one of their senior meetings. It's that date that has not been selected yet, but it will go out in the flyer and letter that will be mailed to the residents. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to open the public comment period of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing no one in the audience, do I have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ordinances, adoption, second reading. Ordinance number 24-20, an ordinance of the Township of Washington, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to amend the code of the Township of Washington by amending Chapter 574 entitled Stormwater Management in compliance with New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, NJDEP, Municipal Stormwater Regulation Program, and the New Jersey Stormwater Management Rule N.J.A.C.7. This ordinance has been sent to the planning board for further review, and the public hearing will be continued on January 6, 2025. Okay? Introduction, first reading, none. Individual resolution. Resolution number 24-374. Authorized 2024 transfer appropriation, $24,500. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSenza.
Yes. Resolutions consent agenda. The following items have been determined to have unanimous consent of the council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Does anyone have any items they'd like to have removed?
I just had a question on 376, the council meetings.
Yep.
Where's it go?
Just that one.
About the one in December being the first day of Hanukkah. I don't remember what we had said on that. So I just wanted to make sure we were all okay with that.
26.
There's nothing to-
Yeah.
The only one that was a conversation was the one in February.
For Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
That was what was presented at the conference agenda last meeting.
That's the,
Let's see.
right, I'm not confusing this year versus next year, right? I don't think so.
I thought the list you provided didn't have any objection,
It didn't, except for,
except for Martin Luther King Day.
that was the only one that was discussed, and then we had the concern with the fourth round affordable housing.
That was it.
That was it. There's no other.
There was no other,
discussion.
do you have that sheet still or no?
That's what I'm-
Yeah, I'm looking
Should
for
be
it,
in
I'm
the
sorry.
back.
In the back?
Well, behind the resolution.
Unless I looked at the wrong calendar year, sorry.
Yeah, there was another one with the date on it.
There was another sheet.
Yeah, there was another sheet, yeah.
Let's see if I have that one with me. I gave you all the different holidays that were there in the one
Yeah,
column.
December 15 shows up for 2025 as the first day of Hanukkah. This calendar.
All right, we'll have to,
That was
we may
my,
have to amend that date.
Yeah, we can always.
that was my only question.
Okay. It wasn't on the list we had last week of Hanukkah starting, so that's why it wasn't brought up on my point, because I didn't see it. It wasn't on that
But the
list.
other part that I have to tell you also is that, and I sent it out to all of you from the state, is that there is a conversation of the primary being moved because there is a Jewish holiday on June 3rd. So they are now talking, originally it was told to me last week at my association meeting that it was going to be just the 4th. Now it came out, which I sent to all of you, they're talking about going from the 3rd to the 10th, which is then going to affect this because I
We have
had
a ninth,
scheduled the
yeah.
9th as a meeting,
Hmm.
but then we would just bump that back to the first week of June. But again, we can adopt it this way, and as we go on, if you want to change it, we just reschedule the meeting. That's not a
Yeah, Ms.
problem.
Velez, I didn't bring my last week's,
Yeah, I don't-
last
that's what I
meeting's
had.
agenda that had all the dates on it. So
Yeah.
if we're okay with adopting it the way it is, and then we'll modify it if we need
Yeah,
to.
as we go.
All right.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's
Yeah.
attention.
It wasn't on that master list we had, that's why I didn't think it was an
It
issue.
would have been, it was on that second sheet. that
Correct, the
had
second
Jewish
sheet, not-
holidays.
Yeah, I don't have that
It's not
either.
here.
Just have
Yeah, I don't have it
dates.
with me tonight.
I don't have it with me either.
So do we want to pull it, or are we okay leaving it the way it is, and then we have to, because we
We
may have to
can amend it
revise
as we
that
go.
date anyway, so.
Whatever the council agrees, I just.
Everybody
wanted to
okay with
bring it-
leaving it, and then we'll amend it later?
Sure.
Would anybody like anything else removed?
Yeah, just, I want to discuss the first one, 375.
375, sure. All right, we'll pull 375. Resolution number 24-376, designating time and place of 2025 council meetings. Resolution number 24-377, appointment of municipal housing liaison. Resolution number 24-378, authorize renewal of interlocal agreement for street sweeping services by and between the Borough of Paramus and the Township for year 2025. Resolution number 24-379, authorize renewal of shared service agreement for vehicle maintenance by and between the Borough of Paramus and the Township of Washington, year 2025. Resolution number 24-380, authorize renewal of membership in the Vernon County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund 2025 to 2028. Resolution number 24-382, authorize American Dream Homeowners Association application for extension of TWA treatment works approval, 463 Van Amberg Avenue. Resolution number 24-383, authorize amendment between Township of Washington and Delta Dental for years 2025 and 2026. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Resolution number 24-375, authorize final change order number 1 for Calvin Street 2024 Road Improvement Project, LA 2024 MA. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'm sorry?
So moved.
Thank you.
Who seconded?
Second.
Discussion?
Just a question on the change order. The concrete step that was added, that's added by the library or?
No, so this is the only part of the change order that council was not aware of, nor was I until we were reconciling this. I guess it was a concrete step that was put in at a resident's home to make it level. It was a decision made by the engineers on the spot that ultimately saved us money. I couldn't really understand why it was a change order rather than it just being the section within the bid. So I don't really know how to explain it to you.
Okay.
But
Explain it best you can. It's someone's home or
yeah,
making
it was a
level?
property. It wasn't the library.
Okay.
And then what you guys and I did also thought was going to be a change order was the repair to the sidewalks abutting the county bridges. They did that as part of the project, not a change order, and we saved significant money. I told you guys and girls it was going to be like
Right.
22 or 23, and it was equivalent to like 12,000, I think, in that email. So overall, we made out very well.
All right. So S1, which is the concrete step, was added. So
That was done very early on. I just didn't know about it until we reconciled the change order.
okay.
So, my apologies,
That's all right.
but I didn't know about it either. But from what I understand, it was a decision that had to be made, and the decision they made saved us a lot of money, so.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Anything else? Roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Motion to adjourn to the conference agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting of the Township Council will be on January 6, 2025, reorganization meeting beginning at 7 p.m. Sign up for Nixle. Text 07676 to 888-777, key code TWP Bergen. Thank you. Conference agenda, December 16th, 2024. DPW building.
Organized here for a second.
Yeah, sure. I have enough to get started. Hopefully you all saw Anthony Iovino's response about the all-steel, where he said it would potentially save $100,000, but he strongly recommends against it being constructed out of steel studs and sheetrock as opposed to brick lining. And so that was his answer on that. Hopefully tonight we get council go ahead to move ahead with the three-bay structure. Our DPW guys have been extremely patient. We feel this is the best option, given the site constraints. And so we just ask for, council's blessing per se to move ahead with the three-bay, full second-story structure.
I would like to, I agree with you. I did not know Mr. Allman was not going to be able to attend tonight. So I would like to have a full quorum up here when we make that decision.
The only thing I would say is he's one vote out of 5, and so if it carries
So he's
amongst
one.
the 4, you know.
I know, but I'd like to have it, I'd
2
like,
weeks drags and 2 weeks drags.
I know, but we've waited this long. To wait till January 6th at this point, I'd rather have everybody give their views on it, Mr. Mayor. It's a big decision to make, and I understand your the need for the project, but I'd like to have everybody here on the dais to make that decision.
I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from, but what if next meeting, one of your councilmen,
We
cannot
will,
make it?
unfortunately, we'll have to wait again, because I think it's such a big decision that we're spending $5.5 million. I'd like everybody up here to explain why they're voting and why they're not voting.
Okay, I mean, can I get a straw poll at least, just to
I
have
think we
a
should still
basic
be,
direction?
we should still be able to vote, even if one council member is not.
I mean, I don't have a problem with a straw vote. That's all.
I'd like everybody up here to give their decision. It's a big investment of tax dollars, $5.5 million, and I'd like a full vote. That's my feelings on it. So
We've just been kicking this down the road.
I am
for
not
how long?
disagreeing with that, Ms. Velez, but I don't think that, I want to make a decision to spend $5.5 million without a full council making that decision, just like, I understand what the mayor's saying, that, it's been waiting, previous councils have had years to do this also.
Yeah.
So
You were one of them.
I
So-
never had a plan in front of me to build so I was not one of them, so do not put words in my mouth. I had no plans in front of me to build a DPW.
This
I got the ball rolling.
DPW building has been on the agenda for years.
I know, and during
So-
my previous time at this dais, I was responsible in spearheading the cleanup of the DPW. We never had any plans to build a new DPW.
Not the final plan.
No,
but
we didn't have any
Let's
plans.
just, how many years are we gonna wait on this?
I want a full council. I don't know how everybody else feels, but
Even with a full council, council president, I mean, having a straw vote now is just a guidance on where we're going,
that's fine.
And I would ask if you would indulge and let us have a straw vote. I mean, again,
That's what you're
we're still
requesting.
gonna have a full council,
I just don't want to make a decision to spend
Right,
$5.5
no,
million without
understand.
everybody being able
but
to.
at least it gives administration an idea on where
okay.
we're going.
That's fine. If everybody, is every,
Yes.
okay. So you have anything other to add to this, Mr. Mayor and Mr. DeCarlo?
Throughout the year, we've spoken about a lot, so I don't think I need to add anything.
All right. Ms. Velez, you want to start?
Yes. My vote is yes.
So, for the DPW.
Yes, correct.
I'm also a yes, council president.
Dr. Cassio?
At this point, no.
You're a no?
I'm a no.
Can I ask if there's something we could do to switch it to a yes? Because that's part of the reason of a straw vote.
No.
Okay.
I think with everything on our plate right now, do we have any time frame for the environmental cleanup at the swim club? Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes, I spoke to Ms.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, Mr. DeCarlo. I figured he
No,
would.
please, go ahead.
I spoke to Mr. Rossi last Friday. He's anticipating hopefully some information to share with administration, therefore sharing with council by the mid-January. Hopefully, it's the recommendations moving forward as to what needs to be done and a cost estimate.
That'll include cost opinion.
I believe so, yes.
He doesn't have any idea right now what it's going to cost, right?
No, sir.
At this time, without knowing the cost of the environmental cleanup at the pool, I'm a no.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
Municipal court, shared services.
no, 1 second, I'm not done. So we don't move forward with a DPW building indefinitely as we
I just
continue?
asked for the cost of the pool to clean up.
But how does that factor into what we need to do for our community? and our
How many
residents
more
and
millions
our
can we put,
workers.
how many more millions can we put on our
I
residents' back?
understand that, but we don't have a facility.
I'm not disagreeing with that, Ms. Blair.
So
How
we
many more,
cannot continue.
until we have a number that we can't just keep spending money up here.
Understood, but we
gotta,
don't have a facility.
I am not disagreeing with that.
So if
but
tomorrow our workers decide to quit to find a location with a facility, then where does that leave the town?
Well, that, anybody could quit at any time.
Yes.
It's
But
their prerogative.
how many years are they gonna be patient?
I
I mean,
can't
I'm losing patience, waiting for councils to like man up and let's get a project done.
I'm all for it. I just can't proceed to spend $5.5 million. What if it's another $5 million to clean up the swim club? We're talking about spending $10.5 million up here.
I understand that.
So, I
But
mean,
one
so
cannot
we have to
affect
be
the
some,
other.
we have to factor some of this. We can't just keep, we don't have.
So,
enough-
okay, so it costs $5 million to clean the swim club. So we don't build a DPW for the next 10 years?
I don't know. I don't have that answer right
Or we
now.
just kick it down the can to the next council like we are here?
Nobody's saying kicking it down the road. This council has done more work on this DPW building with the administration than any other council
We
has.
have been delayed and steel building and this building and the
I
other.
still don't understand how an architect can make a decision when he built a steel building in another
You
town.
asked you asked the
But he built that same
administration
building, but he built that
You
same
asked
building.
the
and you say it's not good
administration
enough for us.
to look at the building on 17, which was the same architect.
But it's good for them, but it's not good for us. How does that make any sense?
What I'm saying
No,
is,
my exact answer is that building that he designed for them down there.
I
It's
don't
not
know
good for us.
what they have going on there, but you asked the same gentleman to look into
And
it.
I respectfully, I don't understand his answer. How for us, we can't have a metal building, but they have a six bay metal building down
What
there,
did
and it's
that
fine.
cost them?
If I may clarify, he didn't say we couldn't have it. His recommendation was not to build the first floor as steel because it would involve a sheetrock interior wall that will get destroyed by operations from DPW. He said the plan already includes steel framing for the second floor.
Okay.
I'm losing patience. I mean, how long are we gonna leave these guys, under a tent? It's,
Well, they're inside the ambulance corps building now, right? Correct, Mr. Mayor?
It's for storage.
Oh, I thought they were using that as.
No.
it's,
Okay.
and Mr. Ullman
And-
discusses
and so
about
again,
ethics
now-
and whatnot, and here
Now
we
we're
are.
off from the January 6th meeting to the middle of December meeting. I mean, January, sorry. So again, it's another month going by.
I mean, but realistically, how much money can we put on the backs of our residents if we don't know what our liability is at the swim club?
Well,
Because our liability at the swim club is going to be a mandate. We can't just leave it, like, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody says you guys spend, $1 million, $2 million, at least then we know what it is, and then we can make an informed decision, right? Right now, we have this Pandora's box we've opened up, right? We've
But
got.
there are grants for that. They're not grants for DPW buildings. So we can continue
There's grants
to,
for anything.
no, not for DPW.
But we're saying we're getting a grant, like, we're still waiting for the grant for the sewer thing that we haven't received yet. Hopefully we get, right? So there's grants for,
There's
grants for it.
opportunity.
but Council President, if I may, we can still move ahead with the DPW building, but we could hold off on the swim club,
No, we can't.
I mean.
No, the way
Is
the
it-
Boswell letter reads is once we get the plan, we have to proceed forward with the cleanup, right?
Yes. Do you
There's
mind?
no stopping that plan once we get it.
Do you mind, if I could take a minute to clarify some things, and I don't mean this for embarrassment, I just mean it to recollect what has already been done. Council, a few meetings ago, had advised administration to move forward with the 5-bay, half-second story. I don't remember any vote that said to stall it. We brought another idea to you to less money. So as far as Iovino's knows, he's supposed to be moving forward. So that's what I just wanted to bring that information. Again, not to embarrass anybody, but council has already voted to move forward with the architectural plans, design, and moving towards the bid documents of the 5-bay.
It's less bays now, right?
What's that, sir?
We have less bays now.
Well, no, we have more optimal space on the property to put a salt shed that we have to have. And we're not having so many bays as to just essentially be storage for equipment. So we're always trying to fit 10 pounds of in a 5-pound bag. So
If I may, want to interrupt you. Do we have to go ahead with the cleanup of the swim club?
yes,
Is that a mandatory thing?
yes, yes.
You can't put that off.
Once we're aware of
And
it.
there's no way that we could hold it for a year?
Well, I don't know what DEP's time frame is. It's just they're going to tell us when. So I know it's not indefinite. I know it's not in January. It'll be sometime within there. But, you know,
So
so
we'll have Mr. Rossi's cost opinion, but
yes, again, but, you know, just that's what I'm
And I was
told.
thinking of having a space between, give some relief, you know, but if we're.
well, yeah, if we could put the pool off, like just say, hey, let it sit there like it has been for the last 3.5 years, I would have no objections to saying yes to that. But without having that number, like, are we asking for, 5.5 here and then another, I don't know,
Right.
how many millions are we going to ask? I don't know what that number is. It's Pandora's box, right?
100,000, could be a-
If it's 100,000, Tom, I'll vote yes tomorrow. If Mr. Rossi tomorrow can get his cost opinion and say it's $500,000, I'll vote yes for the DPW tomorrow. If he comes back and says, well, it's probably going to be $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, I don't know. Like, then we have to be fiscally
No,
responsible.
But we're also open to grant money at the swim club. We don't have that opportunity at DPW.
Possible grant money. There's opportunities there. It's not guaranteed.
Well, the grant writer has been doing a great job of finding us funds.
He has.
So,
The work that Boswell's currently doing is to identify the extent of the problem, right? You have the capacity of it. And then there'll be recommendations as to how to remedy and hopefully a cost estimate. Now, again, not to embarrass Boswell Engineering, but that's what I was told that we're going to have. So it could be a few weeks later, maybe it'll be earlier. But they did submit for the grant, and the grant is to reimburse the township not only for the cost of that preliminary assessment, but for the work itself as well.
And how much was that grant for, do you know?
We don't know. We don't know
It's
how
a
much.
percentage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a percentage of cost.
It's most though. It's
Most of the,
When you're-
the preliminary work, and then all of the remediation if we get it.
But we don't have,
So, like,
have any, like, I know it's 80,000 for
Well,
the preliminary work, it's
assessment was
80,000.
78 grand.
80,000.
So I forget what it said, but it said most of that. So say, again, just for numbers for, say we get 70 back. But the remediation itself, it said it would cover all the costs. We just don't know how much that's going to be yet.
So if we get the first part of the grant.
Yeah.
We would definitely qualify for the second part.
Yes.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, and then,
And when do we find out if we get that grant? Do we have a date?
I don't know, but I know it's been submitted. We worked with Ms. Rukowski to get them the resolution.
Can we ask?
Can you
Mr.
reach out
can we
and
ask-
find out?
Because if he says the date is next month, then I have no, as long as we get that grant, I'll say yes tomorrow.
All right. Well, if
I have no problem as long as I have a way to pay, if I know the cost. If it's $500,000 to clean the swim club, yeah, it's another $500,000 hit that we don't get any more fields with, but at least we have an idea. But if it's $5 million and the grant's gonna cover it, or 500 and the grant's gonna cover it, I'll say yes to DPW right away. But I just can't sit up here and be fiscally responsible by saying, just, spend. We need to have it's gotta stop somewhere.
Is it all right if I just take one more sentence? I don't want to browbeat you, but we're just clarifying that council appreciates the 3-bay full 2-story rather the 5-bay half a second story. That's all we're looking to do, and then give Mr. Iavino the direction. It doesn't mean tomorrow we're going to go out to bid for
So
the
the
project.
last plan he presented was the 3-bay full second
Yes.
floor, and I have no objection to that.
Yeah, that's all we're asking
Yeah,
today.
I have
That's
no
all
objection.
we're asking.
That's-
We're not
oh,
asking to go
oh,
out to
that's-
bid
Oh, I
or
thought,
anything.
okay, I have no objection to that at all.
Okay, thank you. Right,
Yes.
Mayor?
Steve, do you have an objection? Cassie, you have an
Well,
objection?
from what I understand, that it would be, we would be able to have more space for more equipment with the 3-bay. Is that correct? Is that a correct statement?
Well, you have the salt shed.
It's given us more property to put stuff outside, which we need to put the salt shed. We're still, we figured that whether we have a 5-bay or a 3-bay, we're still going to have to acquire.
Put stuff outside.
Right. Some, another piece of property that we
That-
talked to council.
Again, that's not for me, it's not an issue. Okay, the way I interpret it is that we need the salt shed because we can't rely on the county for it.
Right.
So we have to have one, and we could probably
Yeah,
fit maybe one or two more pieces of equipment in the area without having a 5-bay. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then I'm fine with it.
It'll
Yeah, I have
cover
no
the
objection. I have no objection to the
It's
plan that was
cheaper, it's more
presented, three
effective.
and
I'm
full.
okay with
I'm okay with
And
that.
again,
That's the answer you need.
As Mike stated, there are.
Thank you for letting me browbeat you. Just
Keep
clarifying.
browbeating, it's
Perfect.
okay. You know, again, we have costs that are unknown, okay, for right now, 2 projects that we're looking for. And they could be very minimal. in
I hope
cost.
they're minimal.
They could be
I hope next council
major
meeting,
cost,
we come in with
and-
minimal cost opinions and we move ahead.
I'm hoping they made a mistake. There's nothing on the property.
Ditto.
I'm hoping.
I hope you're right, Steve,
You
but I
know,
don't think that's.
I always, you know, I trust no one.
Yeah.
So I want to see it
All right.
for myself.
Municipal court shared
I'd
services.
just like to make one other comment. It's more of a reminder for the residents that, you know, the previous council was ready to vote on this. And when they didn't get elected, they said, all right, let's have the new council have a say. That was back last January. And we've been working hard because everything's budgetary to bring the price down, down, down. And, you know, again, it's really not fair to our DPW workers to keep them always, you know, another week, another month, another, you know, turns into 6 months. You know, I talk to them every day. They're very good natured about it, but they're frustrated with how long this has waited. And, you know, so we're not being fair to our employees who are out there working, you know, their tails off every day, and they're not operating out of proper facilities.
Thank you. Municipal court shared services, Mr. Carlin.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Just to make sure I'm clear, we're not looking for the council to take any action or to vote on the shared services tonight. We wanted to get this information in your hands as soon as we could last week, so you were up to date on it. If acceptable first by Bergen County court system.
It was accepted or it wasn't?
We have not heard yet.
Okay.
It's sent down to them. That's the formality first, then it will come back. I believe Saddle River is actually discussing it this evening at their council meeting, I believe, not totally sure. But if it was acceptable to Bergen County, acceptable to our council, we would then try and get it to you as early as we could in January, and it backdated to January 1st.
So Saddle River requested the shared service, so they should be okay with it, right?
Well, we work together.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm saying,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not like they're gonna come back tonight and say, no, absolutely not.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
that's
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
so. But again,
So really, it's just a matter of the county putting their,
Formality.
the formality of the county saying yes, and then the two of us saying yes,
Yes.
Saddle River and Township.
absolutely.
All right.
So, and you know, a very abbreviated, you know, version, our administration went with their administration and their CFO, and Janita did an excellent job of collaborating with us and putting the shared service agreement together. We basically measured our current expenses versus what they were anticipating. And after some negotiating, we put the numbers in the email with you guys, for you guys and girls. So in 2024, the cost associated with the municipal court should be around $100,655. That's what was budgeted. I don't see going over any of the budgeted amount. The anticipated 2025 costs associated with the municipal court without agreeing to the new shared services agreement are roughly $111,000. This is taking into account existing agreements for the clerk and the court administrator, a 2% raise for the judge and prosecutor, and any required increase in operating amounts. The tentative agreement that the administrations have come up with would be $117,500 for 2025. And then it would go up in $10,000 increments for 2026 and 2027. We would be looking to have a 3-year shared services to see how it goes. I believe there's also a clause in it that allows each of the entities, I don't want to use the word back out, but, you know, relieve themselves from the obligation after the first year. But we see this working out very well, you know, so essentially for about $6,500, additional cost to the township from what we expected to have to budget for 2025, we could get the shared service agreement and relieve us of, you know, the use of this room for the municipal court. So I just wanted to bring that all,
Thank you.
clarify it. If there's any questions or any direction to council or any feelings about it, let us
So
know.
thank you.
Does it sound good? It doesn't.
I think it's a great idea. It's a shared
Okay.
service. We should be doing more of it. So the more we could do, the better it is for the Residents.
if we hear from the county, best case scenario, shall I have it prepared for January 6th?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If it's ready by the county, yes.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, and by the way,
everybody's okay with it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
most important thing is Saddle River is going to apply for the grant that we are now privy to. And then any grant will be split 50-50 by the township.
Great.
I just can't tell you what it can be used for. Like, I don't know if it's just operating, if it's salary, if it's operating.
Whatever it may be, it's
Oh,
still
that's great. Thank you
tax
very much.
savings to the residents.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Last thing on the administration 2025 road program.
Okay. All right. So I also gave council some information to digest in preparation for this evening. So what you have in front of you, hopefully, is an email from Glenn Beckmeyer Jr. This is best case scenario. If council approves all of the roads, the administration is looking to have resurfaced in 2024. I'm sorry, in 2025. So first, if you remember last year, council was gracious enough to get us up and running on the NJDOT grant earlier because it took longer with state approvals. And we did Calvin Street. So we're looking to do the same process in 2025. So we were approved. You have the approval letter from the state for Coolidge. The award was for $190,050. So what I would ask council for, if again acceptable tonight, we would begin preparing the capital ordinance. It would not be a bond ordinance because we have the money in hand from either our capital improvement fund or our capital surplus, which together we have approximately about $600,000 on hand. So we wouldn't have to borrow money to do the Coolidge program. We create a capital ordinance like we did, funding it with money we have on hand and supplemented by the $190,000 grant award. So Beckmeyer Engineering is anticipating the construction to be $260,000 with a contingency of $39,000 and then a engineering cost of $43,000. So it asked if acceptable to the council that by next meeting or sometime in January have a capital ordinance presented for, I say, whatever that total is, $345,000. So we could start getting the Coolidge Ave project.
Okay with that? Everybody okay with that?
Thank you. Okay, so moving forward, we're just going to, the mayor and I wanted to present the same roads that we had selected for 2024, which was Bergen, Carriage, Fern, and Salem. Again, we're not looking for approval tonight, but we wanted to get a head start on giving guys and girls on the dais an idea of what we're looking for as far as road program. So Bergen, Carriage, Fern, and Salem would kind of be like our phase one desires, which you have a construction subtotal of $719,000, a contingency.
Which if we get the grant from,
Totally separate.
no, but I'm
Oh.
saying if we get the grant from Congressman Gottheimer,
Yes.
that'll fund that project.
Yes, and if you remember,
That was the
we
intent.
were basically told we received it. We're
Yeah,
just waiting for the.
So I'm saying, but that project is funded then. As soon as we get the money from Gottheimer, you'd have the money for that project.
Yeah, I mean,
What was the total on
Yes,
the one
in
from the
theory.
state?
I'm sorry?
770?
Well, we applied for, I think, $699,000. The project was anticipated to cost, say, I think it was $640 and then $60 for engineering costs. Hopefully, that's always exaggerated and we're looking to spend less. I don't remember if the Gottheimer had an award amount yet.
I think it was the 699.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
I thought it was the full amount.
It's waiting for the federal
It's
approval.
waiting for the.
So it's 700,000, so that would put a big dent into
Yeah.
that program there.
Okay, so then the engineering cost would be $58,000. So again, you're looking at those four roads costing just under $900,000. And then our second wave, again, if things go well with approval, we'd be looking to do the leftover roads from the PSEG paving. If you remember, we did some horse trading. So that would be Hoover, not McKinley, Hoover, Ridgewood Boulevard North, and West Place. McKinley's just thrown in there because we were able to get PSEG to pave half the width of the road, if you remember. it came to our attention that, PSE&G must just forgot to pave McKinley when they came in a couple years ago. So we were successful in getting to do that half the road. We probably should really do the other half of the road based on its condition. So that second phase would be a construction total of $1,037,000 plus the $78,500. So again, that's just to give you an idea of what
Yep.
we're looking for the streets.
Thank you.
Okay, but I'm going to go with.
Council President, may I ask you a question?
Yes, Mr. Sears.
Mr. DiCarlo, these streets that we're looking at, were they dug up by Public Service Gas and Electric, Water Company? Are they responsible to do any paving on these streets?
So the first answer is yes. Some of the streets were dug up by PSE&G. That's Hoover, Ridgewood Boulevard North, and West Place. The second part of your question is no, they're not responsible to pave it because we did the horse trading in order to get full width, full length of smaller streets. We gave up them doing, PSE&G doing half the width of the road on West, Hoover and Ridgewood Boulevard North. So in other words, PSE&G did exactly what they were supposed to do. They didn't leave us hanging.
And they don't owe us anything.
And they don't owe us anything.
Thank you.
There's no anticipated work going to be done.
Well, that's the question I was going to ask.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Very,
I'm glad you asked it.
very good
Because-
questions. We, about this time, I just haven't gotten the notifications, but I'll be communicating with Veolia and PSE&G. They're made aware of our streets that we have a moratorium on, and they get made aware of our anticipated streets that we want to resurface. So last year, we didn't approve any roads, but I still told them, hey, Calvin, Fern, Bergen, blah, blah, blah. But we have meetings with them kind of mid-year, and Veolia definitely knows they're not tearing up any of the streets, and PSE&G is not coming back.
Is there an opportunity for you to look to see if they're going to do anything on Waramus Road from the construction on Gorga Place?
Either utility, sure, I can ask. Is that not, what's the,
Because that road is so narrow, and they're going to be digging it up.
Awareness?
Yeah.
I think they already did a utility connection. They came out into the middle of the road, I think.
I think that's on Bascac right here.
They definitely came out, did something
Oh,
on
they
this.
did
I just
over
don't
there, too.
remember if it was PSE.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. President, can I ask our counselor if we can put something on our board, in our ordinance that would say, if we have a road that's going to be repaired or paved by us, and I know there's a moratorium, can we put a monetary figure on that if they decide to break that? Plus doing a road, plus fees on top of that. Can we do that? Would it be legal statute? Can we do it by statute?
Who? I'm sorry.
PSE&G
Okay.
or the water company?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I can look at it.
Because I would like to change that because, they come in and they say, okay, we just do a road, because it's happened before, right, Peter? Numerous times, we've just done one, they come in 2 years later, they rip it up, and it's like it was never done, and then they take forever to do it, and then they finally do it, but that still inconveniences the township and the residents. So I'd like to put, yes, you're gonna come in and fix what you broke after we just repaved it, and put a monetary,
Pay a premium.
pay a premium for it, exactly.
All right.
I think that would be a good ordinance to put down, this way they know, hey, listen,
They actually do their due diligence.
yeah, I mean, a lot of times they don't even care. They say, yeah, we're not going to do it. And then they do it all of a sudden and we're out that money. Then we got,
Yeah.
re-tax our residents for the same work, paying twice for the same thing. I think that's a lot to ask for our residents.
Recreation fees, men's softball, and the ordinances and legislation.
Yes, as you see, you should have all received a copy in your packet, I believe, of the budget for the men's softball season for 2025. Last year, the program ended with a surplus of just slightly over $3,000. So we're looking to whittle that down to just over $1,800. But to do that, we need a new fee going from $65 to $75.
You said surplus or deficit?
Deficit.
No, surplus.
We had a surplus of money.
Yeah, if you see under the first column, income, where it says other income 2024 balance,
Right,
That's a surplus for that program.
okay.
And so if you look at the bottom right, where it says balance after expenses, it would be projected that after 2025, that would get whittled down from the 3,000 to 1,800. So we want to slowly whittle it
Build.
down, not do anything too drastic in one year.
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with it. Anybody have any
No, I'm fine
objections
with
to
it.
that?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right,
Okay. Yeah, Sue, did you want to
so let me read
chime
it.
in about the ordinance?
Yeah, I'm going to read it now.
Okay,
so
thank you.
We're going to vote on it now so it can get
Thank you.
enacted. So, introduction, first reading, ordinance number 24-21. An ordinance changing the fee for the men's softball program within the township recreation programs. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 24-21 at first reading by title. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Zacetta.
Yes. Resolution number 24-384, authorizing publication of ordinance number 24-21 and scheduling a public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Zacetta.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Parking, the next thing on ordinances and legislation, parking and storage of boats, boat trailers, commercial recreational vehicles, and residential districts follow-up. Mr. Mayor?
I didn't ask for this.
I can speak to that.
Oh, you're, okay.
Very quickly, you may recall, the council may recall back in September, Steve Lyden from Burgess came in, introduced some ordinance amendments to our zoning ordinance. Those were passed. At that time of those discussions, the council also asked for some changes and some additions to the zoning ordinance, providing for parking and storage of boats, trailers, et cetera. Mr. Lyden has prepared draft ordinances. I've reviewed those, recommended some changes to him, and we've settled up, and I think we're on a final draft, so this should be
Do we
ready
have
for
something for the
review.
next meeting?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
What, do you have to know how it reads, the crux of it now? Or like, what do we have now and what their proposal is? Like a little,
I don't think we have anything now, which
Oh, we
was
don't have
what was the point was,
Oh,
and
okay.
the council had requested he put together a draft of an ordinance. And that's
So we'll have that for the next
ready to
meeting.
go,
to review.
yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We are the Township
Can I-
Council, yes,
can I continue?
Yeah.
Was there a complaint made to them? That you know, with storage of boats, boat trailers, commercial and recreational? I know there's one for commercial.
There's one for
And there's also one for, what do you call them, like campers and stuff?
campers, RVs.
Right, but I'm unsure of the boats and the boat
There
trailers.
there was something around the lake with boats oversized being stormed by the front lawn or something like that. There was some
Yeah.
complaints on the summer.
These are also recommendations based on the reexamination of the master plan.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll look into that. All right, thank you.
Resolution number 24-386, proposed transaction Memorial Field to go into closed session, ambulance shared services in 450 Pascack Road. The Township Council will not be coming out of closed session. Do I have a motion to enter into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Let's take a 5-minute break while Ricky shuts off the cameras. Thank you, everyone.